When you think of Fort Wayne and the military, the 122nd Fighter Wing likely comes to mind. And you've probably heard the A-10s roaring overhead. Our next story tonight takes us to the base and up close and personal with the Blacksnakes. As the sun rises on the 122nd Fighter Wing, the A-10 fighter jets start to wake up, slithering down the tarmac. Because in Fort Wayne, Blacksnakes fly. Behind a giant garage door on the Air National Guard base, mechanics keep the A-10s mission ready.
For every pilot, there's probably 10 other troops who are supporting us getting this airplane off the ground.
Lieutenant Colonel Brian Jandorf started flying the A-10s 15 years ago.
We're flying a single-seat fighter jet, whether it be here in Indiana or in Afghanistan, and for just about all of us, it's a dream come true since childhood.
Jandorf grew up in Wisconsin and remembers the first time he laid eyes on what would be his future.
I was in downtown Appleton, Wisconsin for the Flag Day Parade, and two A-10s came over what I thought at the time was right at rooftop level. And this was in the early 80s, so when the rules were a little bit different, so it may have been right at rooftop level.
He joined the Air Force right out of high school, then went to flight school, and in 2003 took his first flight in an A-10.
It was a realization of my dream as a kid that I always wanted to be a fighter pilot, that I got to fly the airplane that I wanted to fly as a kid.
The A-10s, known as the Warthogs, are at 11 bases across the country, one here in Fort Wayne at the 122nd Fighter Wing. And the A-10s here are known as the Blacksnakes.
Just goes back to it being kind of indigenous to this part of Indiana.
The jets were designed in 1975 for close air support.
Supporting the Army, Marine Corps soldiers on the ground as they advance against the enemy.
With a 30-millimeter Gatling gun on the front.
Designed to be used against vehicles.
And under the wings,
there's 11 pylons. In 2018, we're mostly carrying GPS-guided and laser-guided bombs.
On any given morning, this is what you'll see at the 122nd Fighter Wing, the squadron of A-10s getting ready for daily flight drills. That way, they're ready for any federal or state mission at a moment's notice.
The Air Force gives us a big laundry list of all the mission sets and skills that we need to be good at in order to deploy and support the combatant commander and ultimately the soldier or Marine on the ground.
Just like it would be on a deployment, the crew chiefs do checks and rechecks, getting the plane ready for the pilot. Once he's suited up, it's more safety and weapons checks before it's time for flight.
Most of the time in Fort Wayne, when you see us flying around, you'll see two of us. And if you don't see us very close together, we're probably a mile and a half apart from each other.
The base brings a big benefit to the city, with more than 1,000 people filling the campus every drill weekend.
For the people of Fort Wayne, it's their neighbors, their friends, their colleagues that are out here doing this mission. We are just regular people or ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
For us civilians, we just have to look up.
Hopefully, and I always think this, that there's some kid on the ground that sees that and says, I want to do that, and hopefully their path brings them out here to the 122nd Fighter Wing.
To feel the force.
We're always looking for, the next black snake that wants an adventure.
Of the Blacksnakes. The A-10s have been at the 122nd since 2010.